Welcome everyone to another 9x tool demo, actually our second last one of the year. Very excited about this one for two reasons. Obviously, the tool itself, Coda, which we're going to be checking out, is a very exciting one, sort of taking the evolution of the Google Doc to the next level. I think something that can be used no matter which department you're sort of working in, but also very special today since we actually have a 9x alumni, Hector, who took the last of our API bootcamp. So it's really cool to have you join us. So Hector, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm super excited about this as well.
Yeah, we're very excited. So maybe, before we can get started, you can just give a quick intro into who you are, sort of what your journey at Coda and what it is you're doing, and then we can get started in the demo.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a solutions architect at Coda on the partnerships team. I'm working in between marketing, partnerships, and solutions, mainly working with individual makers and people building something on Coda. Some people are building packs, docs, and some people are building businesses on Coda. So we have different partnership programs, and we help these makers build a business on Coda and build solutions that they can launch into the ecosystem. Previous to joining Coda, I was a Coda customer myself. I was working on finances, impact investing, nothing really related to tech, but I started using Coda and other no-code tools like Zapier, like Bubble and all of them. Really got into no-code, really got into Coda, and I ended up as a solutions architect at Coda. So if I'm not working at Coda, I'm probably going to be thinking about digital products and like how to start new things and just experimenting with new tools and APIs and stuff like that.
Super cool. All right, should we jump in?
Yeah, let me share my screen. Walk everyone through what are we going to do today. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to share this doc with everyone, just so that we can follow along here as well.
Cool.
There you go. It's in the chat. It's for everyone. So the plan for today, welcome, that happened. I'm gonna do a brief introduction about Coda and the concept of a all-in-one doc that can be as powerful as an app. We'll do a tool deep dive. So we are gonna see 3 different docs and templates. We're going to live build one of them, and we're going to go through 2 of them. So we're going to start from scratch, a blank canvas, and just build a daily stand-up bot with some automations, buttons. I'm just going to showcase some building blocks, and it's a fun use case as well for individuals and teams. And of course, Q&A, happy to reply to anything you guys have on the chat. Or I also added these Dorian polls, which is something we use at Coda. It's the Coda Classic, I would say. Pretty easy way to add a question over here. And let me remove the filters pretty quick. There you go. And I can just ask anything. If you like it, you can upvote. If it's done, it's done. We can add notes. Same with the sentiment. So feel free to use it if you want, or use the chat. So by the end of the session, I think I have 3 goals: learn about Coda, how to navigate and think about the landscape of all-in-one doc as a platform, leverage Coda's building blocks. We'll learn about tables, buttons, formulas, automations, and packs, which are Coda integrations. We just call them packs. And the third one, we're going to do a live build from scratch, and we're going to see 3 different solutions to everyday workspace task. So you can use these for your teams, you can use these for your company, or just for yourself. Moving on, about Coda, you're probably going to see everything's going to be in Coda. So it's going to be like a little bit meta. I'm not going to go super deep into what's Coda, because you'll see what's Coda in the next few minutes. But Coda, it's an all-in-one doc. It brings words, data, and teams together in the same platform. We started some years ago. We have over 1 million users, and it's being used by companies like the New York Times, Spotify, Uber, and thousands of people and teams use Coda on a daily basis. Coda starts like a simple surface, meaning you have a blank canvas, a blank page. You have like different columns as well. You can have titles, you can have text, but you can also have like reactions and buttons inside that text. You can also add comments. You can tag people. So you can do a lot as if you were writing just a document like Google Docs. But it's also really flexible because you can have your databases and tables into a Coda doc. So here I have a database with different rows, different columns. Each column has different column types. So I can have text, I can have select list, numbers, dates, checkbox, people, and many more. So it can really be very, very flexible, like spreadsheet pretty much. You could also, it grows with your team, meaning you can share this as I am sharing it with you. I could also type an email here, just share it with someone, and then I can tag them over here. So it's pretty easy to collaborate on Coda. And when I say it's a doc as powerful as an app, I mean that you could really build pretty app-like features. So for example, you can have a text box like this task, and then select a different team that this task is going to go to, push a button, and it just created a new row for me. So you can build these workflows and make it look and feel like an app. If you do this, then do that, and have that logic inside the doc. And you can finally expand what's possible in the doc by bringing data from other places into Coda, or by having your Coda things go to another place using packs, which are integrations. Just a quick example, this is the Twitter pack. So it's an easy way to get my Twitter profile, for example. So if I go here and I name this Hector, this is a formula inside the canvas, which is something you can do. I'll go Hector.profile, for example, or let's see what I have here, description. And I'm going to get the description using this pack. I could also get the exchange rate, for example. So what's the exchange rate for this date? And just get USD to Mexican pesos. Or I can have a button that sends an email for me using the Gmail pack, for example. So that's Coda in a nutshell. I'll go straight into a deep dive into 3 different use cases. Also super happy to go into any particular use cases any of you have in mind, or if you want to explore a new use case, we can do that as well. So I'm going to start with the two-way write-up. It's one of my personal favorites. There's a video in here if you guys want to go through this. I created this one for On Deck. But I'm going to go through it in a few examples. Actually, this is a two-way write-up example in a two-way write-up, because the pain point here we're solving for is people want to communicate their thoughts and their ideas to their team, to their colleagues, to their friends. And you want feedback from them, but sometimes feedback can be very messy. So if a good way to structure that feedback and get people to really think about their questions and all of that is by doing this two-way write-up, meaning you're going to write your ideas, your thoughts, and then you're going to have a clear way for your team to get your feedback and get any questions they have. So it's a way to organize meetings and to structure feedback around ideas. And this page, it's actually a two-way write-up. So I'm explaining something, I'm including text, I'm including video. Something I really like is that when I'm going through these in a meeting, in a live meeting, I often use this button, which is, are you done reading? If you are done reading, you can just click it. And then I know if I want to move to a different part or section of this conversation, like Dorian polls, for example. So we have like 2 different sections here. The first one is Dorian, it's a way to just like ask or have your ideas and discuss any topics. So you can just go here, add my thoughts. And if people like this, they can just upvote or downvote. In here, let me unlock this. I can sort these by upvotes, for example, and descending order, so I know how to prioritize which questions are going to be asked first, and then I can add my answer notes over here as well. So it's pretty useful if you are in a big team meeting and if you want to figure out what questions do people have, how to prioritize them, and just give people the opportunity to add their questions first, people to upvote them, and then go through this list depending on what people want to hear or what people want to ask. Another something that I really like as well, it's unbiased polls, which is how do you feel about this or that, or like whatever idea. And I can just go here and add my sentiment and split these into like, these are comments, these are ideas, these are questions, but this is how you feel, this is your reflection on this Coda doc or on this idea I have. So people can add their sentiment, how do they feel about this idea of a two-way write-up, and they can just add their thoughts in here without seeing other thoughts. And if you just want to see all the sentiments, that you can just go here and see other people's thought. So I really like how this could be a ritual for teams and really have structured way to ask people, how do you feel about this? Just like, give me your comments, give me your reflection, but over here, give me your ideas and give me your questions for the live session. You can find a template over here. It has a little bit more context on how this has evolved from presentations to one-way write-up to two-way write-up, which is what this is. And you can also find a few good examples using slides, so you can embed Google Slides over here. And then we have a similar idea on questions and sentiment. Let's go back. Let me do a pause here just to see if there are any questions. Not for now. Okay. The second one, it's daily stand-up bot. And feel free to interrupt me if you want as well at any time. I'm actually going to go through this one live. So I'm going to attempt to build this from scratch and just walk you through the building process. What we're trying to build here, so the pain point is sometimes we need accountability, either if it's for myself or either it's accountability for your team. And it's usually really healthy to share your updates on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. I do this pretty often with my team as well. So maybe we want to organize a group around like something, or maybe we want the manager, or we are a manager and we want visibility on what's happening with the team. How can we help them? What are priorities? What are blockers? What are announcements? And we, of course, don't want to spend too much time on this because it's a daily ritual. So we want to make it as easy as possible. So a daily stand-up bot is going to help us create those daily habits and save time on updates that we can give ourselves or our team. So you can find template, you can find the video over here as well. And I'm going to start this from scratch. I'm going to go coda.new. I'm going to create a new doc from scratch. And let's do stand-up bot. I have my title. I'm going to start with a blank table. Let's do these. Let's call these updates. Let's do priority. I want to share, I want to think about what do I want to share on a daily basis with my team. Maybe I want to share my daily priorities. I want to share my blockers. Maybe there's something that's blocking me and I would love to get help from someone. And just like a general one, which is going to be updates. Maybe a tweet I found, maybe my favorite song, maybe just a personal update, anything. And since we are going to share this with the team, and everyone is going to send or like update this table, I also want a column that's going to be who's doing this update. And this is going to be a people column. So here I'm just going to select myself over here. But if I wanted to share this with someone else, anyone who fills out this table or this form could also do the same. I'm just going to add here, like, do these webinar blockers, none of these, listen to X song or whatever. Now, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to go every morning, just like fill this out, maybe add a new row. And if I add a new row, I don't want to go here and have to select myself as well. So I'm just going to do something quick here. Go to people options, value for new rows, current user. So whenever I add a new row, it's just going to be Hector. And if Joe, Olga, or whoever adds a new row, they're going to have their name over here. Now, my team runs on Slack, and a lot of people run on Slack. So a good way to do this would be to have the updates and then just send them to Slack every day at the same time. So we have this cadence, and it just feels consistent. And instead of having to go through this and remember to go through this doc and read everything, maybe the team will just get a Slack every day at 11 a.m. with whatever notifications. So to do that, I'm going to use a pack, and I'm going to use automations. The first pack I'm going to use is going to be Slack. So I'm going to go to insert packs. Let's do Slack. So I'm going to add a Slack pack. I'm going to connect my account, which is probably this one. Only me. And I have the Slack pack. So if I go here, there's a post message button. I'm going to go here. I'm just going to drag the button here, which is good. What it's going to do, it's just going to post a message to a channel or to someone. But first I want to draft the message. So it's just going to be like send Slack. So to do this, I want to draft the template. First I need a template, and then I need to draft the message that is going to be sent through this button using the Slack pack. I'm going to do a quick template over here. So I'm just going to do, you know what, this is going to be Slack template or whatever. Let's call this template. Let's do something like who is going to be the person. Priority, it's going to be, let's do number 2, so it's just like just an input. Blockers, let's do, that's going to be the 3rd input, and then updates, which is going to be the 4th one, the 4th input. So I have my Slack template. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to call this message. I'm going to draft this message depending on the row. So each row is going to have a different message because I want to send a different ones. I can either do this in like one long thread, or I can have different Slack messages. In this case, I'm just going to do it row by row, just to keep it simple. So you can have formulas inside tables, and we have thousands of formulas, like sum, average, whatever. There's a lot of formulas that you can use in tables. So for this one, I'm going to use one called format. So I'm going to take template and make it like formatable with inputs. My template is called Slack templates. And my first text is going to be who. The second one is going to be priority. My second input is going to be priority. My third one is going to be blockers. And the last one is going to be updates. And I am missing a value. There we go. Cool. So I have my message. Who, Hector, priority to this webinar, blocker, none, updates, listen to X song. Now I need to customize this button. So I'm going to go here, button options. The content is, I'm just going to get the content from these from this row, and then it's going to be the message. So I'm going to write simple formula. It's going to be, give me this row, and then give me the message in this row. And that's the content I want to send. And channel or email, I actually think I have a Hector testings channel. Yeah, let's probably try that. Let's just test that, actually. One external action performed. Let's see if that worked. It did. So Hector testings, who, Hector, priority to this webinar, blockers, none, updates, listen to the song. And it was just sent by myself because I'm the one that connected the Slack pack. So this works. Now I'm gonna, what I want to do, if I don't want to go and manually push these buttons, because I don't want like to have to go through this and remember. So I can just set up an automation to do this. And once this is sent, I don't want to send this again, because if I keep clicking this, I'm just going to get a lot of messages. So first of all, let's do these results. Button options, results column. So just update the results column when this is sent, and then disable if results is not blank. So if the results column is not blank, you're going to disable the button, and I cannot send the Slack message again. So I just want to build that logic inside this table for the automations. So I posted, it's updated, and I cannot push this button again. Now let's work on an automation to push my buttons for me. So let's assume that someone else fills up these other tables, and I end up having a few other buttons. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to automations, and I'm going to add a new rule that it's going to be time-based. I could do row change, time-based when a form is submitted, or I can invoke a webhook. In this case, I just want to do it every day at, I don't know, 11, because I want to give people enough time to fill this up. And then I just want the automation to send the messages for me. And an easy way to do this is just by clicking these buttons. So I'm gonna make the automation. Let's rename this send Slacks. I'm gonna make the automation click the buttons for me. There's a lot of things I can do with automations. I can add new rows, modify, delete, duplicate, notify users, refresh pack columns, whatever, or push buttons. In this case, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the table, updates. The button is called send Slack. And if I test this rule, it pushed the buttons for me. So if I go back to my channel, I see that the automation clicked the buttons, and the buttons send the Slack messages for me. So that works. I'm going to go back to my template. I could turn this on, and that's it. I pretty much built a Standup Bot in like a few minutes. I would say like this is the whole logics. And in this case, we used tables, we used columns, we used formulas, we used buttons, we used a pack, and we used automations. Pretty much almost every Coda feature or Coda building block. If I wanted to do this even easier, I could actually turn this table into a form. So I'm gonna just create a view of this table. It's a connected view of the table. So if I update this, it's gonna update the main one and clockwise. I'm gonna go here to form. So I'm gonna turn this table into a form. Maybe I wanna edit the layout. Maybe this message is not necessary. Send Slack results. So maybe I just want to do who priority blockers, updates. You know what? Let's do like that. Daily stand-up. Done. I could publish this form. Just go here, create a link, copy link. So I could either have this form over here, and or I could even embed it as well if I wanted to. I could embed these anywhere on a website, or I could also go here, publish form, copy the link, go to a new browser, and then I have my form over here. So if I'm just gonna not select anyone. Oh, I would need to be logged in here because unless I don't have access to the doc, I'm not gonna be able to submit it. But if I share this with the right people, this will appear over here, and then I can just add my updates over here and submit it. And the table will get updated, and I could keep pushing the notifications over here. If I wanted to change this Slack message, I could also do it quite easily. I'm just gonna have to like change this. And since this is a formula, I could easily play around with the templates as well. If I wanted a new column, that could also happen. So that's the stand-up bot. You could do this for your team. You could do this for yourself. You could do this to update anyone, or just to keep track of what you're working on.
And Hector, just a question. So so you mentioned there, because we were using the who field, that the person would need to be logged in with a Coda account. But if you didn't capture that information, could you make like a public form that anyone could fill in? And so you can have public apps where you're getting upvotes and feedback and this sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. So this, instead of being a people column, this could be just like the text. This could be like, you know what, who's gonna actually do this? It's gonna be, let's type Jen. It's gonna be this and that, and that. I'm just gonna submit it, and there you go. So here you are. And I could send you a Slack message. I could send you an email if I get your email. I could do a lot. So I could have like a public facing form and then build my logic in a Coda table.
Wow, really cool.
Let me take a pause here to see if people have questions or thoughts on this. This took me less than I expected, so maybe we have more time for questions.
Yeah, I added my one in there as well, so I can mark that it's done.
Cool. Let me go to over here just to see if there's anything over here. Yeah, okay, so this is the one that you asked over here. Nice. Here's just like another template that was built by Malcolm. So I didn't build this, just like got inspired by this one as well. And he has like a different way to do this. Like, what are you working on today? Blockers, announcements. Do you need help? How are you feeling today? So, like, this is something I really like, because you can just like share with your team, like, you know what, I'm under the weather. This is not a very good day, or I feel fantastic. Let's like do something. You can have today's summary, just like get a summary of what everyone is working on as well. And also send these either through Slack or email. In this case, they're actually using the Gmail pack. So instead of having a Slack notification, you just get an email using the Gmail pack with everyone's updates. So that's pretty much all you have to do.
Nice. And I guess then you could sort of build, is it automations or views that you'd build, so you don't always see the history of every person's submission ever, that when you come on a new day, it's empty and you're filling it in again, and then it would reset itself. So you have sort of this app that you can keep continually using, right? You don't need a new doc for each day.
Correct. Yeah. What ends up happening over here, for example, is that I could add a date kind of column created, so I can keep track of when this was created. And then it can just say, you know, filter this table and just give me, let's actually turn this into a real dates column first. Let's go here, change from text to date. There we go. And then I could just create a filter and say, you know what, just give me today's options or yesterday's or whatever. So I could play around with the filters, and I could decide what I want to show to everyone versus what I want to use every day to send a Slack.
Perfect. And we have another question in the chat from Dustin. So he's using a Slack pack and populates the people column from Slack and can then share the forms without them needing a Coda account. And he's wondering if that's a proper approach.
Yes. So what you could do is, if you have their email, what you can do is, I mean, there's two things you can do. First of all, you can get them to submit. This could be a select list, for example, or just a text or an email column, and you could get their Slack email, and then set up the notifications to that specific Slack email. So what we would do in this case is, let me delete the filter. We would do something like insert, let's say, in your row. This is going to be like Slack email. This is going to be hector@coda.io. And this button, instead of having Hector testing channel, it's actually going to be a quick formula, which is going to be this row dot, just send it to the, what is it, Slack email. So just send it there. Let's see if this works actually. And I can have a different email here. This could be like Hector, it's going to be wrong, it's probably not going to be sent. So we can have different emails for different people here. And if I do this post message, work over there, if I go here, if I go to my, let's find myself. I just sent myself a Slack and I got it here. So I could build that logic as well. I just send personalized messages to anyone if I get their email. I don't know, Dustin, if I answered your question. That.
Yep, all good. It says thanks.
Cool. You could do the same with email. So if you don't want to use the Slack, you could use the Gmail pack, and you could have a send email button instead of the Slack button as well. So you could build exactly the same logic and send it through email or both. Cool. Let's do the next example, and then unless someone else has any questions, but if not, we can go to the next example. Let's go back. Yes, I want to decide. There we go. This is another one I really like. It's really useful when you are collaborating with the sales, engineers, lawyers on like different functions and different teams. And sometimes you're requesting each other things. So for example, if I'm a solutions architect, maybe I'm not the best one at copywriting or design. So maybe I want to request the brand team or the marketing team some help when I'm working on launches. Same with engineers. Maybe I found a bug and I just want to report that. And maybe the engineer wants to partner with someone, so they need help from partnerships. So there's like a lot of collaboration. And instead of going into long emails and just getting lost into Slack threads and all of that, and getting lost with all of these requests, also like hard to prioritize, we can just build all of this logic in a single place so that everyone can request any work stream, any ask from any team in a single place. So let me see if I can share that example that I built over here. This is my request tracker. What I did here is I created a form. So let me go to the setup, which is pretty simple. DB stands for database, just a quick way to organize my Coda doc in a better way. So I have a database for requests, a database for the teams, marketing, people, security, design, anything, status. So like we're reviewing this request, accepted, working on it, rejected, or anything I want. And I'm going to use this as lookup columns so I can select from these options in my main list. So my main table, I have request name. I can write some details. I can select the status, the team that is requesting this, and the team that is expecting to respond to this date, and who's actually requesting this. So I turn this table into a form. So this is pretty simple. Let's do this. Hector, I can double click and select the date. This is going to be yesterday. Details go here. I am on marketing and I'm asking something from finance. I can submit it. So if I go to requests, this is, let's find it. It's probably over here. It doesn't have a status, so I should probably go here and let's select reviewing. I'm going to go up here. Example request. There we go. This is Hector, and I can drag theirs, and you know what? It's working on it. So it's going to be very simple to know if I group these by status. This is just a lookup column, and I'm grouping this by status. I could also group these by the request team. So if I want to go like, I don't care about the status, I merely care about security, growth, and people team, or marketing. I want to know what they're requesting. So I can just go here and group it by team as well. If I want to take this step further, and this is too much noise for me, I just want to see my request. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking the table and adding a filtered view for the current user. So whenever someone logs in here, everyone will only be able to see their own request, because we're using a formula that understands that the logged in user is Hector in this case, or it would be Jan if he was logged in into this, and he will only be able to see his request. So pretty simple way to build a dashboard where I can see everyone from the team, but I can also easily see what's going on for me. And since Coda allows you to turn these tables into different views, so I can turn this table into cards, detail, calendar, or charts. We saw forms. This is a chart. So this is a pie chart. This is a line chart. And when I'm doing this, I'm just like, okay, I want just like insights, like who's working with who's requesting what. People and marketing are really active here. And I can see the number of requests per date, like, okay, maybe understanding what happened, or just how is this growing or not. A simple trick over here, I could also like have this canvas formula and just go to the request table and count how many requests we have. Even if I wanted to, I could go and do the same, but add a filter. So you know what? I just want to know how many of these requests are currently being reviewed. So I'm going to go to the table and add a filter that just lets me get the request where the status is reviewed and tell me how many of them are there. So I have 6, and I can just go here and have like 6 requests in review, for example. And I could like highly customize this dashboard as well. Yeah, so in this case, we saw forms, we learned how to use lookups, we learned how to build custom filter tables, how we can turn tables into charts and different graphs, and how we can have formulas that do things and math for us inside the canvas. And just like good practices and how to set up a doc with the databases and then the interactive parts and the call to actions at the top. Cool. Any questions for this?
Yeah, question from me, Hector. So in the Slack stand-up bot that you built, you inserted a table, and here you're using databases. Are they the same thing in Coda, or they've got slightly different functionality?
They are the same. Yeah, a table and a database, it's the same.
Super.
I would say the way we think about tables is more as a database rather than a grid. So a big difference is that if people are familiar with Google Sheets, every cell is individual, and you have columns and rows, and in those columns and rows in the table, every cell is going to be individual. In Coda, we think as tables as databases. So all columns are the same. They have the same format. They have the same formulas. So you can play around with those formats and rows as well. But we do not have individual values in each cell. So I would say that's the difference between a grid and a database.
Got it. Makes sense. And in terms of
would also be like a database, for example.
Yeah, cool. And in terms of how like your sort of the Coda customers are often using this, would you say in general it's sort of best practice that you're really only having sort of one doc editor or maker, and then everyone else is just using the published version? Or there are also cases where multiple people are editing the same doc without even using a published version, perhaps?
So Coda is mainly used by teams because it's really easy to start with a small Coda doc and then share it with the rest of the team and give them access to different sections. So what I can do, for example, is I can give access to them, and then I can select if you want to view, comment, or edit. What I can also do is I can go here and lock different pages. So maybe this page, I just want people to interact with it. I just want people to click buttons and change table values, but I don't want them to be adding new tables, for example. So I can easily like do this and have more granular control on how my team is interacting with this. Secondly, that's pretty aligned with, and I'm also gonna answer Alexander's question around pricing structure. So Coda's pricing model, let's see if is it pricing maybe? Yeah, Coda's pricing model is maker billing. So and this is really different from many other companies and many other SaaS products and competitors. How we think about maker billing is that we only charge for doc makers. A doc maker is someone that has the power to go and create a new doc. But editors, meaning anyone that gets invited into a doc that can edit anything on the doc, and collaborators, will always be free. So you can have, if you're a big company, here's a calculator, you can have like a team of 100 people, but maybe you don't need everyone to be starting new docs. Maybe you only need 10 people to start new docs, and everyone else will get invited into a doc and be able to collaborate, add their ideas, add their thought, their pages, click buttons, do anything in the doc. But since they are editors, they are not paying for Coda. So in this case, instead of 100 people paying for it, just 10 people will pay for it. And that would cost, in a team plan, 360. So we have a good free tier. The pro version starts at 12, then team at 36, and then enterprise. If you go to coda.io/pricing, you can see the details on what's included. So I would say like that's something very unique about Coda and how we think about getting teams the opportunity to start with a few doc makers and then keep growing the number of doc makers they need, but also give them the opportunity to easily add any editors.
Nice. We actually have a follow-up question on that one, Hector, and also I had a similar question, but Shazot's wondering if the Coda landing page or website was actually made with Coda, because I was wondering, is it possible to, once you've created your app in Coda, because seeing this, like the possibilities are, you can almost create as much website functionality as you'd need. Is it possible to be able to publish an app on like your own domain or things like that, or it has to sort of stay in the Coda environment?
Yes. Actually, this is a Coda doc. This is Coda's website, and this is a Coda doc. So you can see that it looks and it has buttons, it has titles, it has like these beautiful cards. And we're using this Coda doc in our website. So this is entirely a Coda doc with a custom domain. Custom domains is something we are working on. It's pretty close to beta. So we're hopefully going to launch this, and everyone's going to be able to just connect their Coda doc to their custom domains pretty soon.
Really cool, exciting. Maybe we have to do some updates for 9x.
For sure, I'm gonna be happy to help.
Nice. On the helping part that you mentioned, so I see obviously a lot of automation, a lot of formulas, a lot of integrations with other apps. I guess as a new person looking at Coda, it can be potentially a little bit daunting with all the possibilities and understanding everything. So what would you have a few tips on what's the best way to get started?
Yeah, I'm gonna say two things. The first one is go to Coda's gallery, and you can start from a template. So if you go to coda.io/gallery, just go here, you'll find it over here. You can search for any kind of template you want. For example, I'm just gonna type marketing. Let's see what shows up. Marketing calendar, marketing plan, and I can just like search marketing goals. I can just search like different docs that people have built in the past and just get inspiration from them. Or I just like this smart framework, like let's see, inbound tactics. They have a content calendar. So I just happen to like this. I can just create a copy of this doc, and I don't have to start from scratch. So the gallery is a great way to look for inspiration or start by creating a copy of a template. You can also go here and go to categories or quick starts as well, like account plan template, for example, for sales teams. And like we have a lot of different sections over here, and if you like it, you can just create a copy. So there are many ways to start with a template, or you can just like build your own Coda doc and start from something small, which is the second recommendation. You don't have to start with something huge. The powerful thing about Coda is that you can start with a blank page with some text and one simple table, and you can turn it into very complex, good team hub as your company grows. So you don't have to like start with something complex as well.
Really cool. And in terms of, so these templates and also the packs, are they sort of been, is this the community that's creating these, or are these all created by Coda, the Coda team?
Both. So if you go here to docs, for example, you can see who's the author. So this one was created by a third-party maker. This was created by Mark, by Lance. This was one created by Coda. So we have thousands of makers and thousands of templates built by people that just have a good idea and they want to share it with the world. So it's really powerful to see what people are building. Same with packs. So packs are Coda integrations. We have over 300 of them. Some are being built by Coda, but most of them, the majority, are being built by third-party makers, just people that thought about a solution and they just wanted to build one. I created the currency converter, for example. I used to be based in Mexico City, and thinking about exchange rates between Mexican peso and US dollar was a pain in the ass. It was not there, so I just built one, and now it's being used by hundreds of people every day. And I could easily do that. We recently launched an OpenAI pack, so you can get GPT-3 and DALL-E in a Coda doc and just ask any prompts and just save it in a Coda doc, for example. So we have a little bit of everything. Packs can be for free, or packs can be paid. So some people like Leandro decided to charge for his pack, and now he's making a business out of building and selling packs, for example.
Very nice. And in terms of like, I guess also making it easier for people to potentially switch to Coda, And especially when using databases and they already have some data somewhere else. Obviously, you've got some integrations there. So if there's data in Salesforce, you could use that. But in general, has Coda also got an API where you could do sort of a bulk transfer of your data into a Coda doc to get started?
Yeah, we have a pretty good API. If you go to a help center, you'll be able to find it. Or over here, platform, you'll see our API documentation and our packs documentation. We also have, if I go here, we also have importers. So if I go to insert import, I can start bringing my data from Google Docs, Notion, CSV, Confluence, Trello, and a few more are coming up. We have an Airtable pack as well. So there's like a few ways to do this.
Perfect, really cool. And so we were on the website topic before. How does it look on mobile? Is it sort of responsiveness already built in?
Yeah, we have a Coda app, and we also have mobile responsive Coda. So yeah, you can use your doc and get notifications on your phone as well, either through the app or just open it in the browser, and it's yeah, you can see it in mobile.
Nice.
It's mobile optimized, I would say.
Cool. Another question coming in from Dustin. So I've heard we can use the ChatGPT to help write packs. Do you have any advice on using that tool for folks like Dustin who don't know JavaScript?
Yeah, it's insane that ChatGPT-3 can write a pack for us. I mean, yes, on a personal note, I have a background in finances. I didn't know how to write any JavaScript until a few months ago that I started doing it. And I started copy and pasting docs, code. That's how I started. So if you go to like, actually, let me show you. If you go to the packs and you create a new pack, you can start with an example like hello world. And this looks like kind of scary, but if I go here, help, sample code, like, okay, it's pretty easy. Like, what do I want to achieve? Do I want authentication? I have no idea how to do authentication, but maybe if I know that I'm going to use per user template, I can just go here and, you know what, just copy this and paste it over here. If I want to do formula, I can just go here and, okay, this is going to create a formula, and like a new Coda formula for me. I can just go here and paste it and kind of like customize this. If I want full-fledged examples, I can just go here and like, okay, how do I connect to an actual API? This is the to-do list, and this is 100 and something lines of code. I can just copy this and customize it. That's how I started, just like looking at the code, kind of reading it, understanding it, copy and pasting, Googling, and just like changing a few things. And I started with a pretty basic pack. That's also like, that's only a Coda formula. It's like 40, 50 lines. And that's just like a good way to do it.
Perfect. Yeah, very helpful.
Oh, I have one more tip.
Yeah.
Maybe partner stack. This is another one I also built. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the see details in the gallery. So if you go to any pack, you can make like pack makers. This is one I built. You can decide if you want to outsource the source code. So if you just like want to show it to everyone and open source it. So if you go here, you can actually see the exact code that I'm using for this partner stack. So if you understand how the pack works, if you understand a little bit about like APIs and URLs and GET and all of that, and if you like this pack and you are like, okay, I'm going to build the same, but for another software, just make a copy of this code and just get your API keys, change the GET URL, and you're set. So that's another easy way to start.
Perfect. maybe I think we've got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything else, Hector, that you wanted to show? Otherwise, one final question I have would be, what's the sort of one of the craziest apps that you've seen someone build in Coda?
I'm gonna say, and just because this is pretty fresh in my mind, it's using the OpenAI pack. We've done a lot of crazy things. Let's see, OpenAI, Hector. Playground, just to like give you a few examples and how you'd like bring different packs into something. You can generate ideas. So GPT-3 can generate ideas for you in a table, then you can customize it. Then with a click, you can tweet it. You can get Zoom transcripts and then like a very long transcript. And just with a click of a button and using GPT-3, you can get a summary in like one paragraph. You can get Gong transcripts. You can get your finances. So this is a list of like my fake expenses in a Coda doc that will like have different kind of columns, and just get a summary of how much I spent in salaries for a few months. This is my brother's physics homework in a doc. I can draft like emails for me. And there's like a lot of things I can do here. I can get meeting notes using the Gmail pack, so I can import the notes from a meeting that are on Gmail, bring them here, and then summarize it and then send it again. There are like so many things I can do.
It's super cool. I think we might have to do another session in the new year just on the GPT and the possibilities there.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, as in next steps, finally, on this doc, you'll see like some challenges if you want to build something different, a few templates, and go to the gallery if you want to keep exploring templates and ideas.
Perfect. Yeah, really, it's definitely my winter project to get into it. Really cool. Nice. Then, yeah, Hector, thank you so much. Judging by the chat, it was a very, very valuable session. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, hope everyone has a good evening. For you, a good day, Hector. Your day's just starting. But yeah, we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.